The Dutchman has just dropped a massive bombshell by comparing the upcoming 2026 challengers to a Formula E on steroids, and the reasoning is far more technical than it seems. While Red Bull's PR machine tries to sell a facade of manufactured optimism, the paddock whispers suggest that the high-stakes partnership with Ford has backed the triple world champion into a dangerous corner. For the first time in history, Milton Keynes is flying blind, attempting to manufacture their own power unit, the DM01, with Ford's backing. But the telemetry data tells a brutal story. Verstappen revealed that the MGU-K power delivery has completely butchered cornering dynamics. We are seeing a regression where drivers must downshift to first gear mid-corner just to harvest electrical energy, a massive step back from the surgical efficiency of the Honda era. Is this reverse sandbagging? Or is the Red Bull powertrain genuinely lagging behind the giants at Mercedes and Ferrari? Even with a power unit that fails to convince, Max proved once again why he operates on a different plane of existence. During initial simulations and track runs, he was the only soul capable of taming the RB22's erratic instability. The new regulations have slashed floor-generated downforce, making the car's balance catastrophically dependent on mechanical grip from the suspension and tire compounds. The car is twitchy, sliding as if the asphalt were coated in grease, and the torque delivery on corner exit is now so violent it demands a level of traction management that borders on the impossible. Max is effectively being forced to reinvent his entire driving style just to keep the car pointed straight. However, he didn't mince words. The raw joy of driving is evaporating, replaced by a technical struggle against a compromised package. Don't be fooled by the misleading lap times from Isaac Hadjar or the high mileage logged by the Junior Racing Bulls team. Insiders close to the Verstappen camp suggest that while he's relieved not to be at the back of the grid, the gap to Mercedes is visible, clear, and frankly, terrifying. The brain drain of key engineers over the last 24 months has left deep scars on the aerodynamic efficiency that Adrian Newey once perfected. If you thought the Red Bull hegemony was set in stone for eternity, think again. George Russell has just unleashed a series of comments that have sent shockwaves through the entire pit lane. While Max Verstappen is busy venting his frustrations, comparing the new Ford-backed power unit to a glorified golf cart, the Silver Arrows have been operating in total radio silence. It appears Mercedes has finally cracked the code, identifying a critical vulnerability in the rival's energy delivery systems that could change everything. Not long ago, Toto Wolff was forced to publicly concede that Red Bull held a massive 1-second advantage purely through superior battery management. It was a scorched earth scenario for the Brackley squad. However, the technical miracle performed during the 6 days of testing in Bahrain suggests a complete shift in the power dynamic. Russell has confirmed that the deployment gap has drastically narrowed, and the telemetry proves that the Silver Arrows are no longer just chasing shadows. The secret to 2026 and beyond isn't just raw horsepower. It's about knowing exactly when to burn that energy without hitting a dry spell. While Red Bull is still grappling with how the DM01 unit manages its electrical load, Mercedes has refined its energy maps to virtually eliminate clipping, that dreaded moment when the battery runs dry on a straight and the car becomes a sitting duck. Russell made it crystal clear. On high-speed circuits like Melbourne and Jeddah, electronic management is going to be worth more than any DRS wing. The question remains, has the Brackley team truly leapfrogged the field, or is Red Bull simply hiding their true pace until the lights go out? Will the clipping issue be the downfall of the Milton Keynes empire? Carlos Sainz has gone from being the 2025 Williams savior to a driver in a state of absolute unadulterated rage in the Bahrain pits. The Spaniard, who practically humiliated Ferrari last season by snatching podiums while Hamilton struggled to adapt, is now facing a gut-wrenching reality. The Williams FW48 hasn't just stalled, it has regressed so violently it looks like it belongs in a junior category. The catastrophe ignited long before the green light even flickered in Sakhir. Williams committed the ultimate amateur sin, being the only team to skip the critical first shakedown in Barcelona due to massive production delays. In modern Formula One, losing a single day of track time is like trying to run a marathon in heavy denim jeans. Sainz didn't even bother hiding his pure venom when he realized his midfield rivals were already miles ahead in terms of reliability and baseline data. The paddock's verdict has been merciless. The FW48 has been branded an absolute dog, a term reserved for cars that are both agonizingly slow and mathematically impossible to drive. Technically, we are looking at a toxic cocktail of non-existent downforce and a catastrophic sensitivity to crosswinds. Sainz explained that during corner entry, the rear end snaps unpredictably, and the energy recovery software is completely out of sync with the torque delivery at the wheels. The engineering squad back in Grove has officially entered war mode. They are frantically preparing a desperate emergency overhaul for the Australian Grand Prix, focused almost exclusively on a radical weight loss program for the chassis and entirely new software maps. They are hunting for consistency in a car that currently offers nothing but pure chaos. James Vowles knows the stakes. If he doesn't deliver a drivable machine in Melbourne, Sainz's morale, which is already bottomed out, could trigger an internal crisis the likes of which Williams hasn't seen in decades. If you blinked during the practice starts of Lewis Hamilton or Charles Leclerc during testing, you missed it. The Ferrari launched like an absolute surface-to-air missile. The Scuderia has reportedly sniffed out a massive loophole in the 2026 technical regulations that has transformed the SF26 into a literal rocket launcher off the line. The competition, led by a frantic Mercedes squad desperate to protect their throne, has already sprinted to the FIA stewards, demanding the Italians be clipped before the freight even touches down in Melbourne. While every other manufacturer was chasing raw, top-end horsepower, Maranello took a different path. They developed a miniaturized, ultra-high-response turbocharger. This technical masterstroke allows the unit to spool up significantly faster than anything the rivals have produced. In practical terms, it virtually eliminates turbo lag and allows for an instantaneous, violent dump of torque to the rear wheels. The result? While Red Bull and Mercedes are still loading their hybrid systems, the Ferrari has already vanished into the distance. Helmut Marko, never one to hold his tongue, is already lobbying for rolling starts in Australia under the guise of safety, claiming the rest of the grid will become moving chicanes at lights out. The tension in the paddock has reached a boiling point. Mercedes, currently under the FIA microscope for their own suspicious compression ratios following a tip-off from Ferrari, has decided to strike back with everything they've got. George Russell was the first to spill the beans, publicly pressuring the FIA to impose immediate limitations on the Italian turbo design before the final homologation deadline in March. Stefano Domenicali, who knows the inner workings of Maranello better than anyone, has let the cat out of the bag. Lewis and Charles are radiating a level of confidence not seen in Italy for decades. Leclerc absolutely pulverized the timing screens on the final day of testing, clocking in nearly a full second faster than the rest of the field in short-run simulations. And Lewis? The seven-time champ looks 10 years younger. After enduring a crisis of confidence throughout 2025, he personally helped sculpt this 2026 beast.